Welcome, everybody. Happy Thursday. We just need a couple minutes, just waiting for guests to join and making sure that invites are going out. Excited to be here and appreciate the people who've already jumped in chat. I know YouTube lets us pre-schedule things a little bit better. Twitter's a work in progress, but I just want to make sure that all the notifications go out, and we'll just give it a couple minutes here. I think we need to send out a tweet with the link, I believe. Oh, no, we're live. So perfect. So anybody who's joining from YouTube, please, if you wouldn't mind, subscribing if you haven't. It costs nothing and it does help. And if you're on Twitter, please like, retweet. If you're not following one of us, please do. And like I said, I just need about 1 minute, and we're waiting on one guest, and then we'll get started. But in the meantime, anybody in chat enjoying? I know some of you guys, it's late for you. What time zones are you guys in? I'm not going to call you out by name, but you know who I'm talking about. the ones across the pond. No, we got shy people today. All right. I think for now, I'm going to get started. We should be joined by Ron to talk about CADPAD, but for now, I'm just going to kind of start. I'm going to go through this and then introduce myself and introduce Bendy and kind of go from there. So my name is Amir. I've been in the Kadena community for a while. I've been in crypto for a long time. And really, I do streams. I really enjoy doing streams, but they're more fun to do with other people. So I thought instead of doing more individual streams, I thought it'd be more fun to do this with a group of people and kind of keep up to date with what's going on in crypto and keep tabs on the projects that are running on Kadena. And I know not a lot of communication always goes out when we want it to, but people are building, people are working, and I think it's a good way to kind of highlight and show what the community is doing. But we are not at any way limited to any one ecosystem. I would encourage other projects, and we'll be reaching out to people. I would encourage them to reach out to engage with us. And one of the projects that I'm going to be pushing on a little bit is Flux. And I think that Flux plays an interesting kind of angle into the Canadian ecosystem and, frankly, Web3 and asset infrastructure in general. Big fan of theirs, so I'll be chasing them for a bit. So if anybody can help, if anybody's got contacts there, I do have direct contacts with some of them, so I'll be pushing out. But excited to be here. So I will. I saw Ron join. I will let these guys give a brief intro. If Benny, you can feel free to jump on, take the stage, kind of background and what you're going to be doing here going forward.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Amir. Yeah, my name is Bendy. I'm over here from the United Kingdom in England specifically, and you may have probably never seen my face, but I've been a long-term Kadena community member and investor, and yeah, I've been helping out with originally Cadix as a pre-sale investor, and then I was very engaged in the community there, and I was eventually asked to become a mod, which I did for many years, and took a little break from there, and now I'm likely to be helping out with Amir and his community, so I'm very much looking forward to that. And as I say, you've probably never seen my face before, but I just wanted to be able to put a face to the name that you might have seen in the community for such a long time. So thanks, everyone.
Perfect. Thank you. And yeah, we're excited to have you. And if nobody knows this, I've been working kind of on better ways to support our communities. And I thought that bringing Bendy in with experience on this was a great way to kind of help. We've just got so many projects going on, and really appreciate you being willing to come on and help us out. So
anytime. Thank you.
All right. And then, of course, Ron. We know Ron.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So I made sure to wear the Kadena hoodie today Um, but yeah, I don't have much to say. I think most people here know who I am. I'm just kind of glad to be here, help out with Amir, um, talk about some of the upcoming stuff we have on Kadena and what's going on because I think it's an exciting time. You know, I could remember in recent times there might have been times where there wasn't much going on in Kadena, but I'm excited for what's coming up, and I think we have some really cool stuff coming. So I'm really ready to hash some of that stuff out and discuss it with you.
Perfect. Thank you, Ron. And Ron's been here longer than I have, so I think it goes without a lot of introduction there. But Benny too, I believe you guys have both been here longer. So I I'm here to talk about a few things. One of them will be to show kind of how uh, where token goes at right now. Kind of give a reasoning as to why that was built, other than the mad stream of requests, and then kind of dive a little bit deeper into how it can be leveraged to kind of help bring more users into the ecosystem. And so that's going to be, I think, the kind of the second half of this is to kind of go through that and show a quick demo of how it actually works. And everybody's welcome to go there. And I think I can pin token go that fun. I think I can pin this to the menu. Yeah. So so really, before I jump into that, I want to give an opportunity for these guys to ask questions, to give some kind of like high level updates. I know there's a lot of projects that are building privately that I don't want to out, but any of them that give their permission, I'm happy to bring them on and talk about kind of what's going on. But one of the things that I think is coming up here very very soon, which is going to play into why Token Go was built, why Ron's going to talk about CADPad, why these services are going to be very helpful going forward, and why why the dexes, why stables, lending, all that stuff is going to be possible here soon. So one of the things that is interesting in our in our ecosystem, and you guys are welcome to jump in and talk and ask questions. But one of the things that's interesting right now is we're going to be going from no bridge to multi bridge, which I think is an interesting kind of pivot. But what's really cool about it is when Hyperlane's integrated, that allows integrations into all sorts of different things. And one of the things that I personally care about is having liquidity. So it allows us to bring in liquidity from other ecosystems. Whether that happens or not, there's effort behind the scenes to do that. Lots of effort, right? And so none of this is trivial, right? And so while it's kind of playing out in the kind of behind closed doors, there's an opportunity there, right? So if you can take some of the friction out of building, if you could take some of the friction out of wallets, and if you can, uh, better onboard users onto the chain, I think that all those are huge opportunities. And so why I thought this was a good platform to kind of just talk about crypto in general is, you've got big money, big investments in infrastructure and technology on chains like Ethereum, right? That are tougher to scale, things like that. But they're still making these huge investments. So the benefit here is to not worry about competing with them. The benefit is to work with them, right? And so this is like that. Um, Crypto is still very small, like a very small market capture of the world, and for us to capture any meaningful percent of that is a huge benefit, right? And it's not going to be from putting other projects down. It's not going to be from starting the CAS wars back up. It's going to be from people taking an interest, being able to bring and bridge users over. And so I think for me, releasing some of these tools around that time or slightly before is interesting in for us to have the right people in place to be able to handle that. And so whether it whether it happens or not, I'm seeing the chat, and yes, I know that's probably not actually Matt. I think I know who that is. But to be able to capture that, and everybody, so I'm not gonna lose my train of thought, but everybody, so if you ask questions, I'll do my best. If you guys catch one and I miss it, feel free to bring it up. And I like these to be interactive. So as we can ask those things, and as we capture more, more market share, things become easier, right? You have projects that want to build here, you have devs that want to build here, and so infrastructure is so critical to that. And a big piece of it is being able to quickly and easily bridge assets. And so that's kind of like, for me, that's the most exciting thing that's going to be happening over the next. I don't want to say uh, like next 30, 40, 60, or 45, 60, 90 days, but hopefully, within the next month or two, that's in play and running. And so for us to be able to have a product that works on the Kadena side is good, because now we can take some of that friction away, because it's very easy um, to deploy contracts on some of the bigger chains, right? And there's lots of builder tools on Ethereum. And so if we don't need to compete with them, that would be foolish. But if we can complement it and do things that happen on both sides to make that experience easier, I think that helps the entire ecosystem. And so the people who are asking when this, when that, when this, that's cool. But a lot of it's just about timing, right? It needs to make sense to deploy things, and timing is so important. And so that's kind of like the most interesting thing. And this topic will come up later. The most interesting thing I read today was Uniswap doing their own chain. And I get it's to target like Mev bots and stuff like that. And it's basically you're just giving your money away for no real reason at this point. Um, we have a similar challenge on our chain due to speed, right? And so how we overcome that, how we minimize those things when we're dealing with chain to chain and interchain and single chain, I think it'll be very interesting to see if there's new strategies that can get employed, new services, new bots, things like that. So that's kind of like from a high level why I think right now it makes a lot of sense to start engaging in the community more to get these things out there. We need something tangible to talk about, right? And so uh, being able to leverage different projects, like we've got represented here, we've got Wizards, we've got Kadena, we've got uh, Heron, we've got Token Go. I'm going to forget some of my other things, uh, and there's other things that I don't want to talk about that kind of get worked on the side. Uh, it's a great opportunity to then take like a token generator on its face is simple, and then bring in another project that wants to tokenize something, that wants to come in and bring a bigger community, but they just don't want to do any kind of development here. And so that's really, it's not just about giving like a no code tool, it's about how do we enable projects to be successful. And so I think that that's still to be seen how we do that. But that's what I'm hoping we can tackle over the next couple of months is how do we raise better awareness that people are here, we are building, get some of the introverts on our chain to kind of come out of their shell a little bit and talk about what's going on, to share what their projects are doing, and to engage, like I said, frankly, with projects outside of our ecosystem, so we can learn what's happening out there. Because even though I remembered Uniswap was working on this, it leaves my mind so quickly. But it is so important to see. To me, it's just another L2, which I think was interesting. I get why they're doing it, but for us, I think due to resources and stuff like that, it's more about how does that benefit, our projects, and how can we tap into it. And so I think that's going to be kind of a theme, and there are much smarter people, around than me to talk about those things. So the one I did forget, which was an obvious one, was the Mercatus Dex, and there will be another Dex if people are following. There will be the I think it's just called the Bro Dex, which is a stand-up order book Dex. So it's all fully on chain, fully decentralized. It'll be, in my opinion, the first of its kind on Kadena. And don't quote me. I don't think it requires any token, but I'm hoping or thinking that Bro will probably play into that. So if you're not familiar with that project, I would check it out. The Bro project itself is open source. So there's a repo that Pascal has, and any code that gets updated is for the most part all public facing. So if you ever want to follow kind of what's going on there, and you don't know a lot about it, because the community itself is gated off, which is cool. I think it's cool to have like an exclusive community. It's gated off, but you can still see what's going on there, and people will be able to participate without going kind of into that gated community. So I think that'll be yeah, I think that'll be fun. I track it very closely, obviously, and you can see developments happening on chain on testnet regularly. You can see changes to GitHub regularly. So I do recommend, if you're not following Pascal, it's always interesting to see what he's working on. Follow some of the developers who make a lot of changes on GitHub, because then you can see, yeah, you can see what's going on. So I'm going to take a break from that. I would like to use like a few minutes at the end of this, at least, to kind of show like what the platform's doing. But I don't know if Bendy or maybe Ron, you want to talk about CADPAD for a little bit and kind of go over why that's, what you guys are thinking there and how that's going to kind of play into the future here.
Well, yeah, some of your stuff about Token Go, I think, was a good segue into CADPAD, because that's really what it's all about. Is you make the token on Token Go, and then if you don't know how to do web work, front end work, any of that stuff, you need, to take those contracts and put them on a website so people can interact with them. That's what we'll do for you. And so it seamlessly integrates with Token Go. I really liked what you were saying about developers and projects coming to chain and having no solution as far as developers. There's no freelance devs. The docs are subpar, right? This, that, or whatever, and they can't build their project here. And as Kadenians, we want more projects here. So why not try to boost these projects and enlighten them, and give them what they need to build here? And so that's where Token Go and CADPAD steps in. We're building it so that they go hand in hand, right? CADPAD won't work without Token Go. Token Go can exist by itself, obviously, but like we can't go on mainnet until Token Go is on mainnet. But yeah, I mean, on top of kind of how they go hand in hand, I want to mention that kind of how we started was I had set up a group chat for a couple of us in the Heron Heroes Telegram to start testing Token Go for Amir. So just some simple, token creations on testnet. Added like 7 of us there, and that was like Amir and Azza, Kabir and Andy, and eventually Kabir and Andy started working on like a pre-sale template type thing for people to plug their contracts into from Token Go, and then eventually I think it was Robin from the Kadena team was like, hey, you guys should make this into a launch pad. And then that's whenever I stepped in kind of and was like, a launch pad does make a lot of sense here. And, the opportunity's there. We should just go ahead and do it. So I kind of started pushing the script, getting the ball rolling. And for, I guess, about a little over a month now, we've just been like stealth building, grinding, keeping our heads down, trying to get the product out. It's looking good so far. Like right now, it's just some finishing touches. And a little bit later, I can show you some of that when you do your Token Go demo. We're not fully ready, but you could still see Amir maybe later on if you walk through a creation of a token on Token Go. You could then even go to cadpad.xyz and plug that into the launch process. It's not going to completely go through because, like I said, there's some finishing touches, but like we're right there. Like it's really just testing at this point and trying to get some eyes on it, make sure that it's user friendly, but we're right there. And yeah, the whole thing I want to mention, kind of one of our whole pitches, and what I'm so excited for is that we're trying to make it so that any business or any project can bring a token to Kadena no matter what, right? And I think that that's really important. Token Go's like a really cool name for that because that's pretty much what we're doing. We're empowering you to bring your token here, and I don't know. I just wanted to echo that, and I feel like that's the most important part.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and halfway through that, I clicked on a button, and I was trying to figure out how we can all get up here, and apparently it's just just hit a button. So no, that's great, and it's interesting. So one of the things I want to maybe ask or add to that from I understand, because I do understand the benefit to having something like that, and I think it goes past just like a traditional launch pad, right? The goal for all of us was to I'm letting people launch their own code, right? That's all I really want to do. I'm giving you a place to do that easily, and then what can we do together, right, to build on that, right? And so this is like that segue into people can go there and do that piece of it, and then what will be interesting is to see what can integrate into CADPad now, like what kind of additional services can we offer, or groups that we can finally capture some more people where they may not have a developer. We see that a lot. You brought that up yourself. We see that a lot where you may not have a developer, but we do. And the same thing, and I know Guardians is in here, the same thing with Guardians, right? If you need services through there, right, that project is designed to help. And so they may come to one of us and ask for help, right? And so we've made it almost our own little ecosystem within the ecosystem. And there are community members, there are community members that haven't engaged for a long time who are asking about these things and are just excited to see that there's some things being built, and there's always detractors, and I'm not blind or dumb, but for the most part, I've always tried to keep optimistic, and I feel like if we can use something like CADPad, right, and this is where I'm going to go with my question, if we can use something like CADPad to go out, and I think Andy's still in here. Andy can go out there and start bombarding people with, "Hey guys, come check this out." Now it's not just, "Hey, just come hit this button and create a bullshit token." Oh, I gotta be careful with my language. A BS token. I gotta save it safe for kids. So BS token. Now we can go out and say, "Hey, look, you can not just only create this," which is a simple process, right? It's you click a button basically after you put in a couple things. But now we can help you. We can give you the tools to run whatever sale, and whether people want to participate in those or not. One of the things I would, and I will show the hook in there. One of the things I'd be curious to see is how I explain this. So if you build something with Token Go and you use CADPad, and there's a cool little option in there, right? So we've been talking about this, and this is where I think the collaboration works so well, is there are things that I'm not thinking of that you guys are thinking of, and there are things that you're not thinking of that I'm thinking of, and we kind of play off of that a bit. And so one of the things that people ask me all the time is, how do I lock a contract so that it's rug proof, right? And this is from people who've been rug constantly. All three of us know that, right? Our community has been rugged to no end. It drives me insane that people still put money in projects that are clear rugs. I can't stop that. I'm not going to stop that. It's not my job to stop that. But what I can do is, if you create a token, you go through the process, they go through you guys, and what will happen is there's a panel where you can manage your token. And one of the options in there is, once you set up a liquidity pool, you can burn your tokens. So Heron actually has this feature. Like, there's a burn contract on all chains. It allows us to track our burn rates, and it's just a bricked contract. Nobody can touch it. I can't touch it. It's completely bricked. You can look at the logic. You can try it. There's no way to transfer out of it. So even if you could find a way, you just can't transfer out of it. And so what that allows us to do now is, any project that wants to use their contract, and they can select two things. There's one option where you can brick your governance, so you can never change your token, which I think is a good thing. The second feature is you can burn your liquidity. So if you do those two things, if you hold a sale and you do those two things, right? What's the biggest thing? Let's say you raise 100,000 KDA. As you're advising a project on, how to distribute this stuff, how to do these, how to set up a vault or locker or whatever, or staking, any of that, I can assure you, right, from a code perspective, that nobody can ever take that liquidity out. So once let's say you set 100,000 KDA in there, you break your contract, that means you can never mint another token. So you can't cheat the system that way. And you can never pull that liquidity pool. How many times have we been wrecked because of liquidity pool pulls? I mean, it's just insane. So those two features right there are going to be something that I'll let you maybe talk about that a little bit, but I think that those two features right there are probably the biggest thing that I saw come out of prioritizing those things. Because initially I was going to launch without one of those features, but I took the time to figure it out and actually came up with a pretty easy solution. So I'm curious if you guys both want to. I'd kind of like to get both your guys' thoughts on that.
Well, I'm admittedly a bit of a pleb when it comes to the tech side of things. I'm more of the average user and consumer. So my main takeaway from both CADPAD and Token Go is that they're negating the barrier to entry essentially and tackling the unfortunate reputation that we have is it's difficult to build here, and it sounds like both of these are completely going to change that perspective. So that's what's brilliant to me. I'm very much looking forward to just seeing demos of them both. So that'll be awesome.
So one thing I want to mention, which I think is huge, and it's kind of in response to what Amir was just saying. So Kadena is unique, right? Like we're not like any other chain. Like it's definitely there's things you got to learn when you come here, right? Like if you're coming from Binance or Solana or Ethereum, it's not like that. It's different. But the thing is that if I shill you some poop coin on Solana, the first question you're going to ask is liquidity locked, burned, contract renounced. People won't even touch it if that stuff isn't done. It won't go anywhere. And these are words and terms that just haven't been used in Kadena enough. And I don't know if anyone has really done these things in Kadena until now. And in my opinion, these are things that should change the landscape of how people look at tokens on Kadena, DeFi on Kadena, even shit coins. Excuse my language, poop coins.
I'll forgive you. It'll be okay. So, yeah, no, I agree with you both. And Bendy, to your point, the whole point of this is to make it not technical, right? So it's got to be to the level where somebody with no technical skills can navigate this safe and securely, right? Because the last thing I wanted was, initially it was a token generator that puts your code in an IDE window. It still does that because it's your code. But now, if you just want to go launch it, you just go launch it, right? There's no like technical acumen required. You do have to understand a name, a symbol. I did add some more fields, which I'll show everybody today. But those kind of things I think, come with the territory for anything you do. And then the same thing I think will apply to when we make changes to our NFT minter. I think a similar process will take hold to maybe simplify it a little bit and offer more features like full collection dumping, so you could just create a whole collection right from the site. I still have reservations about those kind of things, just because they do require a lot of care, and they can be tricky at scale because we don't have a big enough use case to properly scale those things. And so I like to be realistic about kind of where we're at today. And so as I look at like what tools should we do next, I think what'll be interesting is to see the feedback from this, to see the feedback from CADPAD, and see how we can maybe the NFT marketplace just helps create an API that others hook into, which I have, and maybe we can turn that into more of a shared service for everybody because I've already got the infrastructure built. And again, that's the big thing is I've got the APIs, I've got the data. People coming in don't want to do all that effort because it is not free to do. And some of it does require some additional technical knowledge about the chain itself. So if we can offer those things, maybe that's like a segue into what we do next, right? And there have been projects who've shown interest, but a lot of times they'll fall off. But I'm thinking if we can show success here, we can show that there is some maturity to what we're doing, and maybe attract some more people. And I think that's where I'm hoping people will go to CADPAD and go through the whole experience, because at the end of it, if you follow everything, I will support no token. So if I launch something, I won't talk about whoever launches, I'm happy for, but outwardly there will be no support. It's got to be neutral from me. It's intentional to be neutral. But what I can do is I can do things like highlight tokens that burn their liquidity, that lock their governance, and do all the things, and they go through the right processes. We can highlight those to show that they're safer. Nothing's 100%, but we can, if you go through that whole process, we can work with CADPAD to come up with a badge or some type of system where
Yeah.
when you go and you look at these tokens, you could feel a little more comfortable, because I think that's going to be important. And there is, I don't want to spoil this one, but there is going to be a little bit of a different take on Token Go, where it's more focused on meme coins, and kind of like the degenerate movement on Solana and other chains will be a little more focused on that. I don't want a tool that I make myself to reflect that personally. But I am happy to help, as I am, another project do that. And so again, it's an opportunity to work with others to bring them in. I don't view them as competition. I just view them as maybe they offer a service that needs to be outside of the U.S. Frankly, needs to be outside of my purview, and I think it's interesting. I think it's gonna show some people what we've been doing in the background, um, and maybe a different way to approach projects going forward.
Well, I've heard some people ask before, is this pretty much pump.fun for Kadena? And, I can see the similarities, but at the same time, I don't like that, um, that the vibe around pump.fun, right? Like that it's centered completely around meme coins, trading, and I just kind of wanted to touch on that. It's not that. And along the lines of what you're saying, Amir, is that I plan on a bunch of us projects working together to foster this. I mean, take a look at Guardians. They're doing exactly what's perfect for us when it comes to CADPAD and Token Go working together. Guardians is going to offer, hey, do you need a dev, right? Do you need an audit? Do you need legal help? Right, they're right there. And so that's a perfect partner for us to have, especially if we're going to offer incubation services for your project after you launch. Hey, do you need a dev? Check them out. Swarms too. Swarms integrates into it too. Hey, want to run your project from a DAO? Go for it, right? And so these things are starting to clear up, and look better. And so one thing, a little bit of a switch that I wanted to add. I'm not going to say who it is or what they're doing, but I have a friend, and they're a good example here. I have a friend who isn't the smartest when it comes to technology and coding, right? But they've been around Kadena for a long time. A great friend of mine. Um, and so quietly over the past month or two, they've been working on a pact contract that they found on testnet. They found it, decided, hey, I'm going to try and learn this stuff, read some docs. I'm going to try and build something on my own. And so they don't really know what they're doing, right? Like they're going to need someone like Amir or someone else to come take a look at the contract and be like, yes, this is cool. They're going to need someone to maybe launch their token or launch their NFT. They're going to need a front end dev to put their site together, right? And we offer every single one of those things, right? This person's a perfect example, and it's not just a meme coin. I don't want to say what the project is, but it actually is like a utility project that you see on a lot of other chains that I'd like to have. It's kind of more of like a gambling project, but I mean, who doesn't like that? Um, and Yeah, I just think that serves as a perfect example that like not only are we here to bring new projects and businesses on chain, right? Like one thing that I want to echo and make sure everybody knows is that like if you have no tech experience, it's never too late to start diving into the academy, trying to become a builder, right? Because who knows, even after a year's time of working on it, you'll have something and maybe you'll be a decent dev by then and you'll be ready to create something. And that's what I'm here to help with and what I want people to do. I mean, I I don't think I'm a good dev at all, but I did try to push myself to get into the stuff and have Amir teach me some stuff and try to get more familiar with the stuff because I mean it's crypto. The whole thing about crypto is technology. You might as well get familiar with it. You know, um, and I think Token Go does a great job of that because it actually kind of shows you some of the code, right, and like what you're getting, how you work with the stuff. That's where the IDE steps in, which I think is really cool. Is that you know people always talk about Web3 needs to be kind of the bridge between Web 2 and Web 3 where you don't even know that the Web 3 tech is happening. But at the same time, like I want anybody and everybody to know like how this stuff works, especially packed. It's human readable. It's written for you right there of how this stuff works, right? So that's just something that I wanted to say, and I want people to try to step up and become the builders that we need.
You've basically just described me by describing your friend, except I haven't made the step to start trying to do the coding, but I've been here for so long that I really should, and I need to have a look at the academy and make a start. But yeah, you basically just described me, so that was quite motivational, actually, quite inspiring.
And what Bendy doesn't realize is when I hear stuff like that, I will hold him accountable to that. And and the nice thing is, so like you don't have to do it on your own. And this is what I try to tell. So I get requests all the time, and I promise we'll get to the demo in a minute because I do want to give that a few minutes. I don't have a lot of time. I don't, but I have been spending a lot of time working with other developers trying to help spot check code. I'll always do a review on code if there's something financial attached to it where you're transacting money. Unless you're like a complete d-bag, I will help you, right? And I have had some of those cases where people are just very, very rude, and I ask them just to leave me be, right? And so it happens rarely. Lately a little more because of like fluctuation and things that we all know. It's a really weird world economy right now. And uh, but if I can't do it, if other devs can't do it, I know Pascal's reviewed a lot of the like critical contracts for all of us. Like that's who I go to review my code. So I have somebody that I trust. Who the funny thing is he is, if nothing, brutally honest. So if he thinks your code sucks, he will say your code sucks. And so when I try to tell people that, I try to mimic it just maybe a little more my flavor of saying it that way, a little nicer. But at the same time, we are trying to prevent issues, as I've had issues, and we've all had issues, and so we're trying to prevent other projects instead of being a jerk about it, right? Instead of saying I'm too good to help you, I think it's good to lift everybody up. Let's please hit like on this. It is good to give back and to help others, and that's all I want to do. And that's, if I get nothing else accomplished, it's help others be successful. And so I know Kabir was in here. I know it's late for him, so I'm not sure if he's still in here, but he's somebody I've been working with for a while. Still getting there, but that's good, right? He's still here. He's still engaged. Some may not like his approach. Some may like his approach. He's a nice guy to talk to. Um, we've also got Elijah, who's helped on other projects. Like he helped. I think he helped with Secret Gardens while they were here, and then he helped with a couple other projects. And that's cool. He's got his thing. He's helping me with Token Go. He owns and or operates some of the things that we run, and so going forward, Elijah is going to play a huge advanced tech. Sorry, I call your name out, but it's too late now. It's going to play a huge role in everything that I do going forward. I need somebody to help me so that I can continue building and I can help other people. So I'm trying to figure out a pipeline and a pathway for us to have more developers, not less, no egos. I don't put up with that crap. We'll help each other. That allows me to work on things like this, to get more awareness, to help with the bigger concepts, to help on the bridge, to help with the things that will actually benefit our communities. And so, decentralization is so important. I can't stress that enough. It is why some of us are here. I do love programming impact. It has its challenges. I know it so well that those challenges get downplayed a little bit sometimes, but it allows me to help people quickly when you show me your code. So that's enough talking for me. If there's anything else you guys want to share, otherwise I'm going to go through the demo, and you guys are welcome to kind of talk through that while I'm going through it.
I wanted to add something I forgot earlier that, and you kind of touched on this. So at CADPAD, I don't want to be the guy that pretty much says yes or no, this project good, this project bad, right? Then I take on a lot of liability, and I don't want to be wrong. I'm not going to take the chance of being wrong. So, and at the same time, I don't like censorship, right? I don't like a central entity being like, no, you're not allowed to do something, right? And so we do have a reject function whenever you submit a project. I mean, that's obviously that's like, okay, this guy launched a rug last year. Okay, reject. Along those lines, but what we can do is like Amir saying, okay, put a badge on the project, contracts renounced, liquidity burned, KYC'd with Kadena, you know, they've built projects previously or had successful projects on other chains. Stuff along those lines is what we can do. And so I just wanted to add on that, and I think that's a good point because, you know, it's we were talking about decentralization a little bit, which I'm a giant fan of. I think we all are. You wouldn't be in crypto if you weren't.
We operate on a blacklist. It's as simple as that. So you're safe until you're not. It's the easiest way to do it, and yeah. So, anything else you wanted to kind of cover, but Benny? Otherwise, I'm going to jump into this.
Yeah, go ahead. Looking forward to it.
All right. So let me share my screen. All right. So I just want to say this is probably like my favorite thing. When you first come to the page, these little code blocks. So this is actual code. Like this is people ask me all the time. And it's important. I try to make use of everything, right? People ask me all the time, man, I need to do this like airdrop. How do I do it? I'm like, you literally could take this code, format your data in two arrays, two lists, and it will airdrop. You sign it, it'll airdrop your funds to the list of users. And so I have like this code is built into the IDE. There is going to be you can kind of get an idea. Like I built this simple module to show you like you can how easy it is to build Pat code, how easy it is for a project to read in lots of data. So each of these has a purpose. This is how you mint an NFT, for example, on Marmalade. So like obviously these things need to change, but when people are like, "Oh my God, Pat code is so scary," look, I did these. Yes, take it for granted. I did these in like 5 minutes, and I tested them, and they work. You have to put your own values in here. But the point is when you go in here and you go to the IDE, some of these functions exist. If you want to send to multiple people, here's this form looks terrible, but if you want to do it, this is a way to do it. If you want to send one amount, if you want to do this, you get to see. Let's see if that doesn't error. It shouldn't error. It's not supposed to. You can see the code. You could take this code and use it in your own project. The whole point was to give it to you. You need validation. You need those things. I don't validate on these because it's up to you to write this piece of it. So if you want to fail it and see that, I need to let you fail it and see that. And so it will tell you kind of what's going on. And why I share this is if you've seen there's Chainweaver, Luxottica put together his site too, which this was initially mirrored off of, but this is completely redone. I changed the flow, and the point here was to make it easy and support basically all of our ecosystem wallets. And so I feel like it's done that. And this is going to be a good tool for new developers to come in and see how to structure. You want to mint an NFT. It's going to go to them. That's your policy. This right here, if you connect your wallet, this will let you mint an NFT. You just got to put in you got to actually fill out the form. So outside of just creating tokens, we're giving everybody a place to do this. And so this is going to be a fake one. I want to show one feature, and then we're going to go build a real token. So this is fake, one, and then hide a PNG. Connect our wallet. Okay. I'm not going to show anything else on this one. I'm just going to show one feature. So you see this right here. So we have 20 chains on Kadena. That's the one complex piece here. There's a lot of complexity to this little page right here. But again, I took all the complexity and I let it decide on its own what to do. So it knows that you have a balance on at least one of these chains. Otherwise, it will give you an error. So if you want to initiate a cross chain because you don't have enough funds on here to deploy a contract. I'm not doing gas stations because I can't control them. Anybody would be able to deploy and just drain my gas stations. So I am still requiring a small amount of gas on each chain. But look, it still remembers my thing from earlier. So it's got two commands. One of these is my own fault for what I was tinkering with earlier. And it's what you don't do for a live demo. But if you sign this command, it will run through and look, it's creating that transaction. This is actually just like I said, a blip. So when this is done, this will update and you'll have funds on chain 3, and then you can continue going through this process. I just wanted to show that. It's been a while. That to me is like the easiest way to engage with this. But let's actually go and show what a token looks like. So you can pay in KDA or you can pay in Heron. It doesn't matter to me. If you pay in Heron, most of it gets burnt. I think most of it gets burnt immediately. If you pay in KDA, 75% of it goes to the burn pile. We'll just there's a function in the contract that swaps and then burns. So either way, that's the benefit to anybody using this is actually actively contributing to the utility of Heron, which is running a site like this. So I think to me, that's kind of cool. So this can be a tribute. We'll just call this tribute. TRB. So this is what your actual module is going to look like on chain. So you'll be able to find it on chain by this name. You actually add this in your wallet too. So anybody who's had to add a token before, they know this is part of the contract name. There's numbers and letters before this, which I'll show. And then we can say this token is made for partying. And we'll do whatever that is. Let me pull one of my images so it doesn't look terrible. The hardest part you'll see is that kind of stuff. And so you can add your devil. You can add different social media links in here. So these get written right to your contract. So the purpose of this, and this is something Pascal put this in a KIP recently, and I just adopted it for now. I may make a couple tweaks to it. But essentially what this is going to do is this is going to allow us to track this on a contract basis. So every project that launches can immediately get added to wallets, can immediately get added to dexes. If you follow our pattern, like Mercatus could be able to just automatically inject or insert your images, your logos, your data, your supply, all that stuff. So when people are like, oh, how do I do that? Well, we're trying to make it as automated as possible. So this would create a normal token. Let's add some sales to it though. Let's do, is that, I forgot to add commas in here. I've had that feedback a couple times. So our supply is 10 million. So we're going to have 250 batches for sale, and we're going to sell 10,000 per batch.
Were you just talking about the token list?
Yeah.
I was wondering that. I've seen a little bit about that. I know that that's what they do on Alephium is they have a repo and anyone can put a PR in, and I think that's smart.
We have one. It's in Crypto Pascal's GitHub. We actually have a token list in there. It's what Mercatus runs on. It's what this is using. And this is just enhancing that to the point where you control it at the point of entry. And if we need to make changes, we'll deal with that. But yeah, that token list is how we're rendering everything. So this is going to allow you to sell up to 250. There's 10,000 tokens in a batch. And this is all changeable. And then the liquidity I want to set to pair on the DEX. I do want to put a ratio in here so you can see like KDA to your token. I might put that in like where this says auto calculated. I might put that over here or make it more obvious. But let's say we want to do 5 million for the liquidity. That allows us to that would basically put 25% in our treasury. I think that's a little high. So maybe we'll do 6 million. So we'll put 15% in our treasury. So this will be what pairs on the DEX. This is the amount you're selling initially. This is the amount it pairs to, and this is a bad ratio, but just for demo purposes. And the treasury amount is how much your project team can use for whatever. I don't care what you use it for. That's up to you. The whitelist reservation is if you whitelist, phase 0 is whitelist only. You can choose how many they can purchase, how many batches they can purchase. There's only ever 250. So if you do enough whitelists for 250 and everybody buys those, there will be no public sale. It'll be over. If you don't do that, which I do, it's completely up to you. You can set this so that tomorrow at 24 hours, the sale will start. The price of the sale will be 1.1 KDA per batch, which I would actually probably do more. Let's just do 1 KDA. And then phase 1. So after phase 0, after my whitelist round, I'm going to do that 24 hours after that. Now anybody can buy. Anybody from the public can buy this. And the price for that is going to be 150. This is my absolute, by next Saturday, my sale is done, no matter what. Whatever we have is what we have. That's what's going to get put into the liquidity pool as it should. And that's it. So that's it for tokens. That's the full sales. It's a little bit more. Minting is currently disabled. It works, but I want to think through that a little bit more. That allows you to mint tokens. That's more of a specialized thing. I don't think any project should just do that because it gets scammy. But if you have a reason, it's good. And then if you prevent upgrades, it locks the governance on this contract. I don't need to show that right now. We're just going to go through. We're all green here. And that's it. So now you can get a summary of what you just did. And I just made changes to this, so I hope it works. Every once in a while, like I put like an extra log or something in the wrong place and trip something up. But look, you can see it's got 24 contracts, which is correct. There's 20 chain contracts. There's a payment contract. And then there's 3 contracts, sales, treasury, and an initiator that sends funds to the right place. So everything you need to deploy your contract signed away right there. And now you can see the status is it's sending payment. So I made this simpler status. I still want to, I might move that up here. I haven't decided yet. I just added this yesterday. And again, thanks to CADPAD feedback and others' feedback. Ron, I think you were the one who tested this. So you can see, all right, so the payment went through. So now we're going into deployment. And you can see this little bar is going to track with you. As contracts and chains deploy, I also have detailed stats. So you can, if you've seen this before, you can follow along and see actually, oh, we're processing transactions here. Yeah, if you want more info, I do need to style this like the rest of the site. This is a holdover from before. But you can see, look, oh, look, this is all stuff that has to happen. Let's say I want to get rid of my pending. Look, we've already deployed that many contracts. So again, this process would benefit from like an L2 or a faster block time. That's okay. To me, it actually completes pretty quickly. Like you just see this thing start to scroll down. It'll just start chunking down. And then what's cool is you can follow along. Look, this was actually, I don't know what this took me, like 15, 20 minutes to actually make. And it's, to me, it's like the best thing in here. If you don't want to get into like the details, but maybe you do want to see what's going on. So as this is deploying, I want this to deploy my tokens tribute. You could see my Twitter, my website got written in there. All your sales stats, it all looks correct. I put a 24-hour hold or 12-hour hold. You cannot create a contract and immediately turn on sales. There's a 12-hour hold for that. I did that on purpose. I may actually extend it to 24 hours. This again goes back into the theory of we're not controlling things, but we're not also letting people come in here and be absolute D-bags about it, right? If you want to deploy a token, you should at least have the wherewithal and the forethought to take a little bit of time to plan this, right? If you just want to go in there, you want to launch a token today and hope that you can get 100 KD out of it and then rug it, this is going to slow you down a little bit. But what I didn't want to have happen was if you decide to change something, you can only change your sale price before the sale starts. So what I was hoping to accomplish really initially was to give you a little bit of a buffer. If you want to change your sale price, you could do that. And I'll show you when we get in there. I know we got like 7 more minutes. I will show you guys exactly. See, like this thing is just chugging through. Yes, we don't want. You can deploy a single token with no sales or anything. Do it at your heart. You know what? I hope that people come on here just to launch tokens because it does 2 things for us. 1, it circulates KDA, which is a good thing. 2, it burns Heron, which is a good thing. And 3, it gives me a reason to continue building, right? If people like it and they use it, I'll put more energy into it. If they don't like it, I won't. It's a really simple calculation at that point for me. And so let's see what's left. We have 1 contract left. We're done. So as you can see, I need to make sure that it'll catch it up in a minute, I think, but I got to make sure that that's done. So we've got tribute. We can come back to this in a minute. So what I want to show, we got a couple minutes. Tribute. Look, this is pulled from live data. I'm not like there's no trick or magic here. This is so deployment successful. Let me just pop back over there and hope it didn't. Yeah, okay. So it just was catching up. So let's go back here. I know I jump around a lot. I'm terrible for demos. Created tokens actually does exist. I just don't have the API on right now. This data is from Mercatus. This data will get updated after I have a little bit more live data. So this is actually live chain 2 token data. I'm going to splice chain 1 and chain 2, so KDS data and this, because I allow you to trade these on either DEX. I have no, if we had 5 DEXs, I'd let you pick your DEX of your choice. I have no care in the world about what you pick. And this data will all populate once you actually have a pair on the DEX. So
will it let you
here's
do
what your token
multiple
will,
dexes?
yeah.
Sorry. Will it
Yeah,
let you pick multiple if you want?
your supply chain is, because we have 2 DEXs right now, I just assume if your supply chain is chain 1 or chain 2, it picks those DEXs. If you choose another chain for supply chain, which you can do, no, you can't anymore. I took that out. Sorry, you can't do that anymore. It's just a mapping for the chain that it deploys on. So you could put liquidity on either DEX. I don't see why not. But if you're going to do like a contract controlled deploy, I do need to bind it to one of the DEXs and one of the chains, because all my functions exist only on that chain. So it's completely different if I deploy your token on chain 1 versus chain 2. And that's where some of the complexity got added. So for me, it was actually easier for the user to just say, hey, what DEX do you want on? Pick that DEX and I'll take care of the rest. If we had 3 DEXs on chain 2, I would bind it to the DEX that they chose. If they want to go and add liquidity onto another DEX, that is supported today. They just have to run that themselves, because I don't have a contract on that chain. So when you deploy a sale with liquidity, it's all contract controlled. You don't take it to a K account. You don't go to the website. It does it all through the smart contract. So all this data and stuff all happens because of a smart contract. So traditionally, it'd be easier to just take your funds and go to like 2 or 3 DEXs. This is a little more controlled and safer, in my opinion, because it's automated for you. So the long way to answer your question is, yes, you can do it, but I'm only supporting one DEX. You pick your DEX for the main liquidity. If you want to branch off and do it different, you're allowed to pull liquidity from the contract. You're also allowed to burn the liquidity, so you can never pull it, which is what I would recommend everybody do. But that's kind of the gist there. So if you want to go to Twitter and stuff like that, these links will work. So I have of course, I have a quick and dirty swap. I got to restyle this a little bit. If you want to just do a swap with your token, you can also do transfers in here. But if you want to purchase the presale, you can do that. It doesn't show that I have any right now, and this is something that I'm glad I just tested. This shouldn't show up right now, but it's because the sale hasn't started. So here's your sale stats. So you saw we set 250, phase 0 starts, phase 1 starts, and sale ends. So I have some logic that I need to update. I hadn't tested a future sale yet like this, but it's very like 2-minute change. So what that means is you can get your stats of how many were sold, how many in here. What I'll add to this is if you want to put in a K account, it'll show you how many that wallet purchased. I can also add that here so you can see your stats. So I'm trying to do it, and then if you have a contract, if you actually deployed the contract, this is that whitelist I was talking about. So you can add, E1, E2, and these people will be added to the whitelist. I don't think I want to do that. I can show this. So right there. Okay, so we're not quite there yet. Again, it's just logic, and see that's why I think it's close, but it's not ready. So some of these things I haven't tested enough. The functions work, but the logic on the front end needs a little bit of updating. So I cannot update. I should be able to update my price. So these are the prices we set. So let's say I actually changed my mind and I want to change 6. There you go. So that transaction, if at that point it's 99.9% sure it's going to go through, that allows me to update the price of my presale because the first phase hasn't started. When you're done, you still need a mechanism. There's no statefulness to Pact. So you still need to be able to distribute tokens to people. So this will show you how many times you have to distribute. You distribute in batches of 200, and it's a gas thing. It's just a hard limit. I'm trying to prevent people from having issues. And then when you're done, you end sale. And when you end sale, it puts your liquidity on the DEX. It does everything you need to be able to trade on the DEX that you chose. Everything. It's done at that point. Nothing else you have to do. No manual intervention. And then if you choose to, then you can burn liquidity. Like you can go through here and burn liquidity. So that is token from inception to death, essentially. in a positive way. And I feel like I blew through that and I talked a lot, but the goal was to just show each step. And so I've been looking at getting the docs updated so that it reflects kind of this new flow. Once I'm happy with that, once I've tweaked some of these things, I just need to go through and make these changes while this contract's live, and I'll fix it here probably this afternoon. The site's ready to go. The only difference I have to do is change one variable to mainnet, and everything gets updated to mainnet. So for me, like this thing is just a couple tweaks, couple little user things away from ready to go. And so anybody who's seen this, anybody who's gone to tokengo.fun and checked this out, feedback is great. I've been making changes based on feedback nonstop. And I would like to have this wrapped up before the weekend's over. Any extra changes. So then I can pause, evaluate, we can test, and then we're ready to go. There's no more hiccups. Hoping that we'll have, again, more liquidity from a bridge coming here very soon after that. So we'll be in position ready to go for that. I want to help on the bridge side to bring over assets. So if you can imagine, I'm working on tying that in here too, if that makes sense. The last thing, if you want to do swaps, that token doesn't have liquidity, so it's kind of pointless to show. Ron, the Elon token does, so I was checking that out. So this isn't fully done yet. It does work, but basically if you pick aggregator, it's going to pick the percent that makes sense from each DEX based on your funds, based on what the price is of the token, so you could get a better price, essentially. So I may hide this for now, but this is a cool little feature. And then when you swap it, like I said, if you have your token on both DEXs, it's going to pick the best price for you. So I think this will be a cool thing for people. It's been asked for a long time. I think Lynx essentially does this in their wallet too, which I'm not sure if it's any easier or harder. But I am absolutely testnet rich, as you can see by that. So that's it. That's the site in a nutshell. There's other pieces that are hidden. There's other pieces that I didn't dive deeper into. But essentially, that's what we're going for. We're going for easy. So I don't want to get into some of the technical bits. I did add some developer features on here for people who want to dive deeper. And I'm excited to continue working with them to get feedback and see what I need to add. So that's all I've got.
Do either of you have a hard cutoff right now, or can I share my screen and show some stuff?
Please do. I'm good.
Yeah.
All right, I'll try and figure this out. I just made a token, and I got CADpad and the back end and all that stuff running locally. And I just kind of wanted to show a little bit of the process of how it looks right now. All right, can I just...
You should be able to take over sharing.
All right, I'll just, I guess, share the entire screen. Okay. Now there should be like an infinity mirror. I need to get rid of that. So, all right, I just made this token on TokenGo. Can you guys see my screen fine?
Yep.
Now what I need to do is make sure I have the namespace right here, which is this, and then with a period. Now what I can do is come to CADpad, which I have running locally. I need to come home. So if I come to launch, it's going to say pretty much step 1, create your token. It says head to TokenGo, create a token. I already did that, so I can skip that. So I'll press next. Now it's asking for the contract address. I just made that. It's just the same namespace. Actually, Amir, I didn't know that actually. Do I just get the same namespace for my wallet address and then it has like a different module name? Because every time I create a token, it's the same N_E9 whatever.
Yeah, I'm hashing your key set, so it'll always be the same.
Gotcha. So I just made this token over here on TokenGo. If I go to Explore, I should be able to pull it up. It's just a test token. Yeah. LFG Thursdays for our weekly space / stream, which is what we're on now, of course. You can see it's just, I just made that really, really simply, really easy. So now what I do is I'm here in CADpad, enter contract address. We just want to verify that you're the person who made this. I also need my wallet connected so I can verify that. So I'll verify, confirm, Boom, transaction submitted, ownership verified. So yes, I do own this contract because I just made it. So we verify that, and then we go to the next step. Now we have a review and submit. You click this, it just pops up. We just pull everything that Amir's token generator just put on chain, right? So it's really easy. I think it's really neat, really cool, is that everything that you just put on chain using Token Go, we can easily read that and say, hey, is this the right details? You can put in your name. I'm Ron. I have an email address. And about, I am Ron. There, added the team member, not that one. Submit project. I'll wait for this to come through. Boom. All right, ignore this. Anyway, now if I refresh, it'll pretty much tell me that you're pending. It should be doing that. Connect. Really quick. Run back through this. It should say pending over here. Yes, status pending. Your submission is currently under review. Okay, now this is where it gets cool, and this is where I get excited. So we have an entire backend database type stuff going on. So now what we're gonna do is we have our backend. I can come in here, have like an admin dashboard, and right here I can see LFG Thursdays. Well, they're pending. They want to launch. I can click on them. I can say, okay, what's their token details? LFG token supply 100. Here's their logo. Sales details, everything you just made in Token Go right here at my fingertips. Team members, Ron. I am Ron. Whatever. Then I can come in here as an admin of CADPAD, and I can approve the project. And comment, hi, submit vote. And I'm gonna try and run through this really quick, but what's happening is pretty much we have an entire API here for us to use, which will be live soon, and that's what all this stuff is built on. Anyway, now that I approved the project, you can see status change, it's approved in the back end. This isn't important because none of you are ever going to see the back end, like it's just for us, but I think this stuff's cool. Anyway, I can set fees now. It's generally going to be the same. It's probably going to be $100 in Kadena. So right now, like, what's that? Like
$50.
Yeah. So I need to set a date for you to pay fees. Please pay fees, sir. Set fees. Wait for it to load. There, fees are set. I'm going to mark the fees as paid. I'm going to verify as the admin that yes, you did send the funds. That's going to come through. Boom. Now I can launch the project. So once I launch the project, here's where it gets cool. Now, automatically, your project's been approved and launched. So if you come over to back to CADPAD, come to our pre-sales, you can see, boom, LFG Thursdays is there, ready to go, approved, ready to launch. It's an upcoming sale, starts on the 14th, which is in 4 days. I can't click view sale yet. We still need to add that. But that will be pretty much where you actually see some of the tokenomics, maybe a roadmap if we work with the team. You can even see if I go to my email address, which is also really cool, that I just put in for that. I can see that I got these emails. Hey, new project submitted, LFG Thursdays, project vote received, fees set for project, fees paid for project, project launched. Now, I ran through that really quick. How that's actually going to work is our team's going to reach out to you through email and stuff and be like, hey, who are you? What do you got going on? Do you have pictures, colors, fonts, whatever you need? Do you need anything else? Do you need a custom website? Do you need staking? Do you need this, that, the other? How can we help you? Right, and that's how that's going to work. I just ran through that really simply and easily because it was for a test, but yeah.
I think it's cool. It's just
Very
like
cool.
the continuation. If we can do more projects like this, and this is what I'm begging people, like reach out to us, talk to us, get ideas, and build them. I think it's going to be cool. So trying to make it as automated as possible. Obviously, there's steps in everything and human approvals here and there. Those are inevitable, but that's right in the ethos of what we're trying to build. And so I think it's, there you go, Slayer. yeah, slay those alphas. I do like that project, so it'd be cool to see that come back to life. But that's all I've got. Is there anything else you guys want to add?
Well, I just want to say, as somebody seeing those demos for the first time, who's probably on par with the most average user, the best credit I can give is they were so self-explanatory, so easy, and so quick. I think you are going to see a lot of usage from both of those sites. So I don't think you've got anything to worry there. I think the community are dying for something like this, something they can get involved with, something they can interact with and have fun with. So I think it's going to be a big hit, both.
Awesome.
I'll answer a quick question. Almismo from Kishke. They ask, is there an estimated release date for CADPAD? Way that works is pretty much we can't go on mainnet until Token Go is on mainnet because we're actually going to be creating our token on Token Go. And so I think Amir said he wants to have it on mainnet by the end of the weekend. That just means that really all we have to do is some finishing touches to get our stuff online, because right now I can just run it on my computer. It's not completely live. And then we're going to do a run through testnet, like open testnet sale, which is the stuff I just showed you guys, but it'll be our token KPAD on testnet, and we'll let our OGs and Rocketeers run through that. And then I think we're probably like a week or two away, if I had to guess. I mean, it's really close.
Yeah, I just want one. There's going to be one mainnet test that I will share with everybody. It's going to be interesting. So we'll do a live test, and people can choose to participate in that or not. It'll be like the lowest denomination of KDA that I can come up with, just to have some fun with it. So there's no ownership, there's no project attribution. It's just going to be a fun little like launch token. So what I'll use that for is to test our stats. Because I've got simulated data, but I don't have live data piped in because I couldn't get things to work on testnet as I wanted. But I have all this infrastructure for mainnet, so I'm not worried about it. It's anybody who's seen, I like 15, 20-minute fixes at most. So I'm excited for that. And yeah, functionality wise, I'm happy. I just want to clean up the UI a little bit, clean up some of the errors, clean up like the things we saw today that I don't always check for. And so what the CADPAD stuff helps with is checking all those things. And so I've made so many changes that I need those guys to once more help me go through that. And there's other community members who've offered, which is awesome. So I'm ready to go. I've been waiting for this for a while myself, just to get it off my plate, to get it out there, and to get people engaging and talking about something positive. So I'm happy with it. I'll let you guys have one more word, and then I'll wrap us up.
I just want to say I'm excited, right? Like I look at myself as like a builder and kind of a half-assed dev, but I mean I'm a community member first, right? And I'm just really excited for this stuff. I think it's I don't know. I know a lot of people have gotten fed up with Kadena, and I know that this is like a light that's shining, maybe clear some of the darkness. And I think that it's huge for the community and ecosystem, and it's one of those things that could really, help jumpstart Kadena again and really get this place pumping.
Yeah, I completely echo that. I'm a community member only, essentially, and well, I just want to see Kadena prosper, and I'll be around if anybody needs help with anything at any point. I'll be there. Feel free to reach out.
Perfect. I appreciate you guys. I appreciate everybody who's joined us. Again, if you wouldn't mind, if you're on YouTube and you're not already following us, can you follow us? Or I think it's called subscribe on there. All the video content on there. There's a lot of learning stuff on there too, under the Kadena brand. And I welcome you to check that out, to give feedback, to ask questions. That's what I'm here for, to help out our community. And that's what I've always tried to do. And so with that, I'll leave it with a thank you. Again, thank you for everybody who joined us. We'll be back again next week, and I look forward to changing up a little bit, talking about different things. We can talk about where, we can get a status update on this, and then we can kind of talk with, I think we have another guest for next week, potentially. I'm just waiting for them to commit. But that's going to be the goal, is to get a different guest on every week, so that we can kind of highlight their projects. And I think that's going to help kind of what I think is missing right now. It's going to help kind of accelerate the awareness a little bit. So With that, I'm going to take off, and I appreciate everybody's time today. Thank you.